Hi guys, political posting mummy here, and I'm getting brave. I am desperate to get the information out on the Safe Schools program. I was involved in organising a forum the other night, which I've been doing for the past 18 months, a Safe Schools Education Forum, and there was some recording done, and we had a teacher speaking there, and she's bravely put her story up onto Facebook, and it's gone viral. And I'm going to share my story of Safe Schools too, and let you know what I know about Safe Schools and why Victorian parents, we need to get really angry. We need to fight this. So first, let me start by boldly saying that the Safe Schools program is not and never was an anti-bullying program. It was a program put together by La Trobe University's Department of Sex and Gender Studies, and none of these people who've put the program together are teachers or psychologists. They're basically what I would call transgender activists. So the program is a transgender activism program, and it's made up of two components. So firstly, we learn gender theory. Gender theory is the belief that it's a theory that gender is actually in the mind. So it's how you feel. So it has nothing to do with your biological, psychological or physiological makeup, that it is actually a social construct that when you're born, you're assigned your gender at birth by the doctor, because they look at your genitals and then you're actually conditioned to be that gender. So there are many people who believe in gender theory strongly. I'll tell you what I believe. I believe that men and women are equal, and we're different, and within our gender, some of us may be more masculine, some of us may be more feminine in how we behave, whatever that means. I remember being a little girl and being called a tomboy. I was I guess all my friends were boys, and a more masculine little girl. I identified a lot stronger with boys. I struggled with those female relationships. I had a motorbike, if you want to call that a boy thing. That was me. And as I've got older, I've embraced my feminine side. So, you know, we're not talking about that though when we talk about gender theory. I'm all for, I've got 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls, and I'm all for giving them as many opportunities as they can. You know, if we talk about traditional female-male roles, my oldest 15-year-old boy, he loves to cook, and he's very soft and kind and tender, and you know, if they've always been feminine traits, well, so be it. You know, but he's very much a boy. My daughter is probably like her mum. She can kick a footy really well, and is very athletic and sporty, and quite feisty, and can be quite aggressive and assertive. So, you know, if that's what we're talking about, totally fine. I think we are in a generation now, I hope, where we're raising our children to understand that they can be whoever they want to be. But gender theory isn't this, okay? Gender theory is what I call, it's an extreme theory. It's unsubstantiated, so the science doesn't back it up. It is a theory, and they call it a theory. And basically, in the Safe Schools program, they teach that there are 63 different genders. So they're not teaching that there are a male and a female, and then people who are transgender and they fit within that gender spectrum. They're teaching broadly that there's 63 different genders. So let me tell you how I came to know the Safe Schools program. I had a friend who had told me about the program, and I must admit, when she first told me, I thought she was being really extreme. I thought, you know, and then I also thought, look, I'm very open with my kids. I always have been. I thought anything that they're kind of taught, I can counteract. So I didn't really worry too much. I thought, you know what, my kids are pretty open with me, so I'll be okay. It wasn't until one afternoon when my son, who was 13, hopped in the car one day and told me, "Mum, I had to make a vagina at school." And I said, "What? In art, or what are you talking about?" And he said, no, in health class. So what do you mean? He goes, well, mine looked more like a penis. And I said, so the reproductive system, or what do you mean? Like fallopian tubes? What are we talking? He said, no, the vagina. And he said we had to construct it how we thought a vagina looked. And then we had to kind of remake it into how it actually is. Now, he's 13 years old, and his words were, it was creepy. This is a kid who, you know, had seen his mother's private parts and his younger sisters, but at the age of about 4 or 5, didn't see them anymore. You know, he's 13 years old, and he's more interested in playing basketball at this stage and kicking a footy. And we've been very protective, made sure that he hasn't looked at pornography. I'm not naive to think that kids don't look at pornography. I know that we live in a time where they're exposed, unfortunately, to all kinds of things, but it's my job to guard him and protect him as much as I can until his brain and he's old enough to make those decisions and process that for himself. So that was my first concern. And then it was 2 weeks later when he told me, he got in the car, it's raining quite heavily at the moment, got in the car and he said, Mum, I now know what a dildo is. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, I'm thinking, oh great, we've hit high school, one of his mates or someone, oh, this is terrible, they've pulled it out at lunchtime, whatever. No, this is in the classroom. So his friends, they were in year 8, had come out and told him that the teacher had shown them a dildo. So like any protective, caring mother, I did my homework. This was a couple of years ago now, and at that time I could actually find all the Safe Schools content when I did a Google search. It was all there. I could read it all, and I did. It was hours and hours and hours of reading, and I researched. And I went to the school, and the first conversation I had with the principal, she denied that the program was in the school. So I wasn't that sure at that stage. It was a very new program. No one else had really talked about it. So I went home and I did more research, and I was able to find that sure enough the school that my son was at that time had signed up, and the program was definitely at this school. So I went back armed this time, and I said, look, I know, to the principal, I made an appointment, and I said, I know that you're teaching the Safe Schools program here, so I would like to know why you're introducing dildos to the children in year 8. Now, the welfare officer was sitting in on the meeting, a young girl by the name of Tiffany, and she said, oh, you're not aware of safer options? That's part of safer options. And I said, safer options? And she said, oh, you don't know what that is? And I said, why don't you enlighten me, Tiffany? And she said, well, you know that they're all having sex from, 12 now. They're making condoms, that are smaller because of this. And she said it's a much safer option that they use these devices than each other. What? I mean, I've spoken openly with my children from the day they were young. So the moment they'd ask me anything, I'm not a prude about those things. I will talk to them, I will answer their questions, but I wait until they're ready. And to think that at 13, 14 years old, they're teachers in the classroom showing them how to use a dildo, no. So we removed him from that school. Now, the school he's currently at has the program. And my daughter goes to yet another different school. Now, I got smart, and I spoke to my kids really openly, and I said, I'm going to need you to collect some evidence, and they have. Daughter now has evidence of being taught how to masturbate. She's 13 years old. How to masturbate as a girl, using your finger, hop in the bath and touch your breasts. The websites that this program's connected to actually teaches them how to masturbate. Scarletine, you can look it up. -18, that's another one that's connected to the program. But on Scarletine, it teaches them how to masturbate using things like electric toothbrushes and razor blades. Oh, obviously remove the blade. We've got to do this safely. I kid you not that the rumours about this program are 100% true. This program sexualizes children, so they do not let parents know what they're teaching them. That's why there's so much mystery around this. This was snuck into the curriculum. There's no opt-in, there's no opt-out of the program. You know, previous sex education, we'd get a little note home and we signed it. I'd signed one previously, and we had a little outline of the things that they'd be discussing. Well, not Safe Schools. Safe Schools is teaching your children anal sex and anal sex positions. It's teaching them STI, it's no big deal. The content is hyper sexual. Now, I'm not okay with this, and I'm not okay with the fact that at the beginning of the classes they tell the children you are not to talk about this outside of the classroom. I'm not okay with that. This to me is grooming, as the teacher that I've done a forum with has pointed out also, Moira Deeming. You can check her video. I've posted on my Political Posting Mama page as well. This is grooming. So this is comprehensive sexual education, and we've got transgender activism where they're erasing gender. So male and female, no, that'll be gone. We don't talk to people like they're men and women, girls and boys. We don't do that anymore. The program is absolutely disgusting, and it needs to stop. My next video, I'm going to talk about the primary school version, which is building rights and respectful relationships. But for all the haters who comment and say, you know, you're homophobic, you're transphobic, hell no, I'm not. Hell no, I'm not. I'm a mother. I'm a protective mother. My kids are not homophobic or transphobic. This isn't about this. This is about parents' rights, bringing parents to the table, actually including us in our children's lives and the discussions you're having. So if they have questions, we can actually enhance their learning if it's such a positive program. But no, this has been snuck in by stealth, very deceptively. We were told it was an anti-bullying program. It's not an anti-bullying program. It never was. You know, they have Gay Pride Week. I hope all you parents are aware of this. At the schools where they do sausage sizzles and everyone has to go up to the whiteboard and write something positive about the LGBTQ community, and if they do, they get a rainbow lollipop. So, you know, this is they're making gay pride banners in lunchtime. It goes on and on and on. It's dispersed throughout the entire curriculum, so you can't even opt out even if you wanted to. And those that say, oh, don't worry, I'm in a private school, it's not going to touch us. By 2018, Daniel Andrews will have this program in every school in Victoria. It will be mandatory. So we got to get really loud, parents. Like I said, I'm not transphobic, I'm not homophobic. I think that you know, initially I kind of accepted the program because I grew up in the 90s. I remember how, you know, people were treated. I've got someone in my family who I love very much who was bullied for being same-sex attracted, so I would have supported a program like that. But this program is anything but. New South Wales and Tasmania have caught on and they've scrapped the program. Parents found out about it. Please spread the word. Please fight hard, do the research. It's hard because it's kind of packaged really nicely, and some of the stuff sounds quite positive, and like anything, I guess there's positive components, but 95% of it is absolute smut. It's garbage and it needs to go, and kids need to be kids. Things need to be age appropriate. I am their parent. We need to claim our rights. I don't believe that my kids are, that the state is in a position to be teaching them these things. I don't think that's the place of the government. I think our generation now is actually very accepting of sexual diversity, but I don't think we need to be teaching anal sex to 13, 14-year-olds without teaching them all about the risks. So, Political Posting Mama, signing off. Share my video, defend in the comments once you've done the research, get loud. You're not homophobic or transphobic for speaking out. You're a damn good parent who cares about her kids and wants to be involved. Signing off.